This video essay will analyze Denis Villeneuve's Dune 2021 and its sequel, Dune Part 2's 2024, using Jean Baudrillard's The Gulf War Did Not Take Place essays from 1991, Michel Foucault's Panopticism chapter, and Tom Gunning's Mabuse The Grand Enunciator. These were essays that we went over in class, and they were a couple of my favorites, so I figured I'd want to bring them in as critical frameworks for this video essay. By engaging with these texts, the essay will argue that Dune constructs as a layered critique of war, surveillance, systemic control, addressing how power dynamics and resource exploitation are maintained through spectacle and surveillance. This analysis will also incorporate Frank Herbert's original 1965 novel to trace the evolution of these themes from text to screen, as well as Denis Villeneuve's filmmaking techniques and how he perfected this. The world of Dune is shaped by ecological and political conflict centered on the spice melange, a resource symbolizing the hyper-real dependency, much like Baudrillard's analysis of oil in The Gulf War Did Not Take Place. The battles over the spice mirrored the performative nature of modern warfare, which Baudrillard describes as a concentration of simulacra, where the conflict serves as systematic dominance rather than resolution. Spice, integral to the empire's economy and power, perpetuates scarcity and crisis, echoing oil as a hostage of power, as Baudrillard says. Its extraction devastates Arrakis' ecosystem, a cost ignored by those in power, the Harkonnens. Military actions, such as the Harkonnen assault on House Atreides, are highly staged, paralleling Baudrillard's claims that the Gulf War was a media event, designed to maintain the illusion of conflict while masking systemic control. By framing the war as a spectacle and resource dependency as hyper-real, Dune critiques modern conflicts, revealing how power thrives on cycles of scarcity, domination, and illusion. Surveillance and systemic control are central to Dune's narrative, aligning with Foucault's concept of panopticism. Foucault describes panopticism as a system of power where constant surveillance disciplines behavior and reinforces hierarchies. On Arrakis, this is evident through the Emperor's oversight, which ensures loyalty and suppresses rebellion. The Guild Navigators, which are in the books but not mentioned in the films, with their monopoly on spice-fueled space travel, maintain dominance by controlling essential knowledge and resources, creating dependency that limits freedom. Similarly, the Bene Gesserit, and we'll talk about more of this when we're talking about the Grand Enunciator, manipulate individuals and entire bloodlines, using their hidden influence to shape political and social outcomes. These entities operate like a panoptic system, where power is sustained through observation and the internalization of control. The characters' actions are shaped by the ever-present gaze of these forces, reinforcing a rigid hierarchy. Through Foucault's lens, Dune exposes how surveillance doesn't just monitor, it disciplines, ensuring the Empire's systemic power remains unchallenged. The role of enunciators in systemic control is key to understanding Dune's narrative. Drawing from Gunning's concept of the Grand Enunciator in Dr. Mabuse, Paul Atreides embodies this paradox as both a messianic figure and a product of systematic manipulation. Like Mabuse, Paul operates as a central figure whose actions shape the entire system, but his rise to power reveals contradictions of revolutionary narratives. Although Paul's ascent appears to be to liberate the Fremen and challenge imperial authority, it ultimately reinforces the structures of systemic oppression. His leadership, built on the Bene Gesserit's long-standing manipulation of prophecy and belief, demonstrates how revolutions can reproduce the hierarchies they claim to dismantle. Through Paul, Dune critiques the dual nature of enunciators, figures who promise liberation yet perpetuate control, reflecting the uneasy balance between resistance and the complicity within systemic power. And before I go, I just want to talk about Denis Villeneuve's filmmaking. I think it really does elevate Dune's exploitation of systemic control and power dynamics. His use of scale is breathtaking. The vast desert landscapes, dwarfing characters, visually reinforces that insignificance of individuals against the larger oppressive systems. The oppressive sound design, from Hans Zimmer's booming score to the deep, rumbling voices of the Bene Gesserit, creates an auditory sense of control and domination that I thought was really cool, especially during Lady Jessica's scene in part 1. Villeneuve also employs tight framing and lingering close-ups to convey surveillance and psychological tension, mirroring Foucault's panoptic gaze. Lighting plays a critical role as well. The dim, shadowy interiors suggest uh, the hidden aspects of the Emperor and the Guild, while harsh, blinding desert sunlight exposes the brutality of life under systemic rule. Villeneuve's restrained pacing does allow for the audience to feel the weight of systemic oppression, echoing the slow and inevitable march of control. And yeah, I just think like through these techniques, Denis Villeneuve, he transforms Dune into a truly great cinematic experience. I got to see both of these films in IMAX opening night, which I'm really proud of. And I just think this film does a really good way of reinforcing its critique of power, surveillance, and systemic oppression.